Hi there, welcome to Module 4, Optimizing Your Physical and Digital Touchpoints. And beyond optimizing, identifying. What are they? Let's figure it out. So first things first, what's the goal here at every stage along the way and with every tactic or platform we're employing? Well, there's a few. This is the way we break it down anyway. We do this with both our lead generation email marketing kind of campaigns, and we do it in our advertising and just generally our content creation as well. So the three buckets here that we're talking about include lead generation, where we're creating interest in a service, product, or company for the purpose of generating leads. We are actually bringing them in, getting them to subscribe or purchase or leave their whatever contact information. And then of course we can follow up with them in whatever way we want to, aka nurture them. So this, if it were email marketing, we're going to pop them into a nurture campaign where they're receiving ongoing updates from us. Maybe it's tailored and segmented into a specific list of people that only want to hear about fashion but not food, or men but not female content, if we're a clothing retailer perhaps. And then, just hopefully driving them towards taking action. Fulfillment is if we are creating the kind of content or ad campaigns or email marketing where they've purchased something and now we need to reach out to them or simply deliver it to them, but keep them coming back for more. Not just get a review or a referral, but also get them to feel like there is more to the picture here and we can continue to be their solution. So just some suggestions when we think about our goals along the way, as opposed to just the tactics and touch points. So speaking of tactics and touch points, let's look at this version of things before we map out our own. This is using different staged names, including awareness, evaluation, acquisition, engagement, and advocacy. I would switch around engagement and acquisition if it were up to me, but there's many versions of the funnel and the loop and the journey. So let's start with the bottom row. If we're to think about this journey of a physical space back in 1982 or even 1992, before we had all the social channels and the laptops, we have billboards, right? Traditional media campaigns, print, radio, television, even phone books, as you can see in the next stage there. But this could be where the person is actually phoning and learning and talking to that realtor, physiotherapist, restaurant group and understanding what they're about before making a decision. From there, acquisition. It was traditionally done in store or it would happen in person with some kind of physical transaction because there's no such thing as e-commerce or digital downloads or whatever it is. Then engagement. Well, what does that look like? It means that you were engaging with people one-to-one or one-to-many, but in a physical group environment where you're constantly selling yourself over and over again and doing it on the phone or with coffee meetings or client relationship building exercises or whatever it is. And then finally, that advocacy. The ongoing need for them to advocate for us, but didn't really happen at scale because how many people can one person reach, even if they're really well connected? Hundreds, but not millions. Okay, so there's some touch points and examples of a physical journey. The digital journey, amen. Now we can scale, we can drastically increase our reach, and of course all the stages along the way after that. So at that reach or awareness stage, we're relying on our websites, or maybe let's start actually with social campaigns and social advertising. Building awareness, generating new leads, reaching people that have never heard of us before. Then they're evaluating. They're going in and they're doing a Google search on us or their social search, but they're digging deeper and they're utilizing the internet to do so. From there, acquisition can happen in a digital space, e-commerce, online, just completely hands-off transactions for the seller that happen in their sleep. Engagement can happen, of course, through social media or through Google reviews and responses that way, or even email, but in these broad environments that we can all, as other consumers, voyeur in on. So if you're responding to your Google reviews in a way that I love, because I'm going to go read them before I book your tour through Nepal, and I can see that you're a real human and you're answering them, not only were you speaking to that one person who filled out that review, you're speaking to all the rest of us who are paying attention and watching and forming opinions about you as a result. So you're scaling engagement, even if it feels like it's a direct conversation with someone in your Instagram feed. If it's public and not done in your DMs, the rest of us can see it too. So massively scaled conversations. And then advocacy as well, equally scalable and profound in how many people can be reached as a result of our digital advocacy activities and those of our customers. So good stuff. What else do we have in the digital marketing tactic bucket, just so we can think through a few other touch points or possibilities? Video goes without saying. You can have micro video, long form video, live video, whatever you want. But somehow, if you can incorporate video into your customer journey and your marketing mix, wonderful. It is the best way to showcase all the things we're talking about, to build trust, awareness, authenticity, and just overall, excitement and desire among your customers when you show up for them in a way that they hope you will in a live animated space. Blogs, great as well, of course, really good for SEO, getting the kind of keywords onto your website that the search engines need to see in order to serve your blog and your website up when queried for those same industry or product terms. Email marketing, so powerful. If you're not doing it, I really encourage you to think about going forward with some kind of email marketing mix. It is the one promotional digital marketing tactic or tool in our toolkit that people are actually asking for. This is like paid promotional content. It's like an advertisement in their inbox. When I get that, Gap e-newsletter or the Best Buy, whatever it is, I am getting to open it whenever I want, unsubscribe at any time, share or act on it or click through or not. The power is mine as the consumer. And that's not the same when I'm forced to watch YouTube pre-roll ads or when I get interrupted in my Instagram feed with a bunch of promoted content or boosted or ad campaigns. So email marketing is not only preferred by consumers and well regarded, but it is a fantastic way to reconnect, stay top of mind, and of course, drive sales. Podcasts, paid social campaigns, chat bots we've talked about, collaborations and partnerships, always so powerful, especially if you can scratch each other's backs and you both have reach and you're going to benefit from it. Offline experiences, more of a physical touch point, say, but it sure can lead to online engagement if you're creating a place physically for someone to engage with and take a photo in front of or bring their friends to or talk about online. Automated messaging is that chat bot that's got some pre-programmed answers to it, and it's not just a live chat with an actual customer service officer. It might actually be some kind of FAQ that gets people answers as quick as possible. Influencer marketing, again, really powerful. It doesn't have to be celebrity marketing. It could be micro influencers in your fold, just like Yeti started with fishing guides and outdoorsmen as the people that they seeded their coolers with that then helped explode the product to like-minded souls and then the rest of the world. SEO, as you hear us talk about often at Social School, is probably the most misunderstood digital marketing tactic and such an integral one because everything we're talking about in this journey here relies on you being found one way or another. And I often say, whether you agree with me or not, every purchase begins with a search. I'm either searching you on social, I'm looking you up in Google Maps, or I'm just trying to find you online. But how many times do you buy something or book something without first Googling or searching for it in some way, shape, or form? Unless you stumble on it at a market or on a main street, no problem. Yes, I get that. But maybe we'll say 95% going forward. Influencer marketing, SEO, paid search is when you do search engine marketing mostly through Google. There's a few other forms, but search engine marketing is Google ads and can be really helpful, especially at that transactional stage. People often go to Google when they're ready to buy. I go on Instagram when I want to forget about my day, be entertained, connect with family and friends. really powerful place for you to show up as a brand and make me aware of your brand, or maybe I'll buy something on a whim, but that's fantastic for engagement, awareness, and reach. And Google Ads and just showing up in Google search can be really great for conversions, because when I go there, I'm looking to book a manicure, or I'm trying to find an airline ticket or a hotel room or whatever it is. And then live events, which can be fantastic as well for, of course, creating those relationships and showing up in person, which we know to be so important today, but also for getting people to convert in ways that you want them to. Okay, so if we know this to be our AIDA funnel, what are your touch points at each of these stages of this traditional journey, physical and digital? And you've got this as an exercise in your workbook. So 3 things here at the end of this module. We're going to map out the ways that customers and prospects are currently finding you or your company on and offline at this time. So at that stage 1 awareness, what are your physical touch points? What are your digital touch points? And it's okay if it's like a street sign and, maybe a website URL that's got a terrible website to it. No problem. You don't have to have multiple pieces at every stage. And some might overlap. Your website might fall into actually every single stage of the journey, and that's okay, as long as it's got the right kind of content and calls to action for each stage of the journey. And then, where are they finding you at that middle stage of interest, where at decision, and where at action? I'm going to leave you or tell you a quick story here. Back in 2016, I had my second child, and I had been driving this car that was too small for too long, and I was like, enough. I'm getting the car that has more room, and I want a 3rd row, and I'm done with jamming in car seats and strollers and losing my mind. So I had my dad in my head because I'd previously bought a Total Lemon years prior, and it wasn't a practical car. It was the pretty car I wanted. So this time I was like, okay, I'm getting a bigger car, but it's got to be practical. So in my family, we love Toyotas, and I had my dad in my head going, get a Toyota Highlander, and I wanted a 4Runner. So I Googled interior space 2016 Toyota 4Runner versus Toyota Highlander. And sure enough, what came up, I kid you not, a video of the 2016 redesigned Honda Pilot with the 3rd row. And I see this man on a YouTube video showed up top of search for me in the video search. And he was a car dealership owner from Seattle, crawling in with his selfie stick and video camera on, or cell phone camera on, to the 3rd row of the new Honda Pilot. And he showed me that he fit just fine, even though he was 6'7", and he could, utilize this car to the fullest, and it was all redesigned. It was fantastic. He showed me every nook and cranny in this 12-minute video. And the next day, I bought a 2016 Honda Pilot. And I had no intention of doing so. This guy and his video, just by virtue of, again, he set the stage, he created the content for probably months prior, I doubt years. I bet he didn't even have that many other videos. I'd never heard of him, but I liked him, I trusted him. He hit me with the exact kind of content that I didn't even know I needed, and he had somehow optimized his video really well that his Honda Pilot tour showed up when I searched Toyota, and he got the sale. That video, it ticked all the bases, actually, because really I should have been seeing some top of funnel like hybrid versus 4Runner news articles or informational results, or almost like Wikipedia style brand broad, search results. But instead I got this kind of like middle of funnel interest, desire churning video that YouTube works so well for, as does video content in general, that like pushed me through all levels of the journey immediately and got me to the finish line. So all that to say, think about your content, think about where people are finding you and where they're not, or where you're capturing them early on because you did a great job of writing articles for your Toyota dealer about the interior space of this versus that. But then you didn't show up for them at the end when they were looking for a Toyota dealer Calgary. And in fact, that's where some guy from Edmonton swooped in, massively optimized his website and his content and his test drive booking app for that exact search query, and he got the sale. That's exactly what happens time and time again. No pressure. All right. So on that note, what's your ideal customer journey? Where do they find you? Where do they engage with you in the middle and get really excited? And then where do they get to go to check out or to purchase or advocate or whatever it is? Physically, digitally, ready, go. Final exercise here. The key places you're prepared to focus your marketing efforts in order to drive traffic and revenue, if you had to pick just 3. So let's say you did think, okay, I know that my journey is a little sparse or a little overwhelming, or there's a lot to focus on here, but the 3 platforms that are going to really move the needle for me at maybe more than one stage includes YouTube, podcast, and Instagram Live, or blog posts, e-newsletter, and a better website. Anything you can do to basically raise the bottom and get seen and heard a little bit more. And then what kind of commitment can you give it? So are there any kind of content categories that you can employ here? Those are those universal how-tos, did you knows, behind the scenes, top 10s, Q&As, testimonials, unboxings. We've got tons of those in our content courses. And in fact, the Scheduling and Automation 360 Series Lab has all of that and so much more. So just thinking about what types of content you would create, what does it look and feel like, what subject matter, and then do you have any kind of budget to get it out there? Mostly we'd be talking about boosted posts here, but perhaps it's also for some graphic design or photography that you might need, or a videographer to help you pull it off. This is where the rubber meets the road and we make some commitments to these platforms that we know to be so important that we either have possibly been remiss about or just not taken seriously enough with some spending behind them. I hope that makes sense, and I will see you in the final module here of this course, and good luck in your exercises.